You got to try some of Mario Cristobal's coffee. I hear it's from Cuba.
Oh,
Extra
really?
strong, yeah.
He's kind of fired up enough. I could see him on caffeine. That's probably not a pretty sight. That dude fires me up every time I see him.
You return home undefeated, still in Pac-12 play. It's got to feel good grabbing the program's first sweep in LA.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that fact until Big Joe told me after. It's pretty neat and actually kind of unbelievable because we've had some really good teams here over the years, and you would have thought at least one point they would have swept that trip. But yeah, it was a great weekend. I thought defensively we were terrific, and so yeah, we've had a lot of firsts, and I think that's a pretty special one.
How did that UCLA game feel? Did it have a tournament feel to it?
It did. We all talked about that before and after. That it was a regional kind of feel, you know, over 7,000 fans. It were really loud too. I like the fact that they have a DJ. I mean, that's pretty cool. You expect that in LA, but both teams are really good. I think we were both playing for something big, and you could tell the intensity level was notched up just a little bit.
Some teams might get a little high after that kind of game, that kind of sweep, coming back and getting into practice, or have they come down off that, or are they still pretty steady and practicing well?
Well, we came home Monday and just ran and lifted, did some weights and shot. So we really haven't had a practice today. It'll be our first one. But I sent him a little note that says if what you did yesterday still looks good to you today, then you haven't done anything today. And so we, I think our kids are mature enough, even though we're still young. I think they're mature enough to realize we got to turn the page. We enjoy it that night, and guess what? It's Arizona next.
You kind of got, you were an upstart, so you got some attention with the run late last year and more into this year. Are you going to have to adjust? Are girls going to have to get used to the fact that now you guys are going to kind of be the hunted, perhaps going forward instead of the hunter?
Yeah, well, I think with the early preseason ranking, I think we have been all year. And so we've already gone through that 17 games worth. And for the most part, our team has passed. So I don't see that as an issue. And most of the players, if you look at their histories on our team, come from winning programs. So they've been used to that, either in club ball, high school ball, or wherever. They're used to being the hunted. So I don't think that's been a factor.
You mentioned the other day that you guys actually haven't been playing your best ball lately, and yet you're 4-0. Is that kind of a good thing as a coach to have that to kind of?
Yeah, and I think the team would be the first to admit. I mean, offensively, we're just not really in sync. We haven't shot the three ball that well over the last really month, nearly a month. And but we're getting the right people, the right shots. They'll go. That happens. I think defensively, we come and go. And I thought this weekend we were really on point defensively, especially in that UCLA game. To hold them to 61 on their home floor in a big game like that, I think really speaks to how our team is maturing. But then you have a game like Washington here where everybody, including you guys, were scoring baskets on us that night. So, that will come and go. Our offense has been what has really carried us this year. But it's nice to know that even on those nights when we're not shooting well or maybe not taking care of the ball as well as we should, we can rely on some defense, and we did that this weekend.
How important was the zone defense and using that to prevent them from penetrating? And
we ran every defense that we have. A couple of different zones, a couple of different kind of special looks out of those zones. We picked them up full court to try and slow them down. I thought we did everything that we could. And sometimes when you do that, your kids can make mistakes. They might get confused from one defense to another, and they didn't. We were just dialed in. I thought the zone really, really helped us. And then once they got a little tentative, and they tried to force some things and maybe didn't take the best shots that they wanted. And so, yeah, I thought that was a real key, especially in the UCLA game.
You run most of that stuff on the sideline. Do you depend on somebody on the court to make sure kind of you guys are in the system even when you're changing it up?
Yeah, well, this is our defense. We have 1, 2, and 3. So, and then we throw in some colors on top of that give us different reads. So, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to kind of figure it out, but it's just the order which we do it. And then if we pick them up full court, we add another number. So it might be 22 or 23 or 12. That always throws it. So anyway, there's nothing magical or genius about it. It's just, just trying to know when we want to run a certain defense against whatever team they have on the floor at that time.
Satou playing well enough. Was her, I think, starting over the weekend, was that scheme, or was that she's improving so much you need her on the floor to start?
Yeah, well, it seemed like we were playing a bunch of teams that had kind of guards at the 4 spot, and we just thought that what we were getting with having a bigger lineup at maybe the offensive end, we were giving up more at the defensive end by having to have Ruthie chase a guard or Mallory once in a while to have to pick up a guard. And so we just opted for the change, partly because of that, partly because Satu's really playing well. And then with her on the floor, that allows us 4 shooters, that can really spread the floor. And then you have a potential All-American and Ruthie down low. And then it just becomes a nightmare for defenses. If you double Ruthie, she's a very unselfish player. She's going to find the open shooter. And then vice versa. If you don't double her, then now you're going one-on-one against one of the elite posts. So it just seemed, a good move for us at the time. But this last weekend, we actually played Mallory and Ruthie together quite a bit. So kind of what we did early this year.
You've got the scores where you don't have to have Maite score a whole bunch, and you get Ace and still win pretty comfortably. But over the weekend, she kind of had, 17, 18? What did you think of her weekend?
Maite was terrific. We don't win either of those games if she doesn't have the nights she did. And, she's perfectly fine being the 5th option or flying under the radar because everybody talks about Satu and Sabrina and Ruthie and Bando. But she's been our most consistent player all year long. She's our best defender, and that never gets headlines or anything. So she's in the perfect place for her, kind of mindset. But she is I wouldn't use the term an assassin, but I'll tell you, that kid's a gamer, big time. And I thought she was awesome. She was seeing some big-time pressure, and she handled it well. And then made timely shots, too.
How has her recent momentum impacted the team's momentum as a whole?
Maite's?
Yeah.
Oh, I just think it gives everybody confidence. I'm sure you guys can think in your own lives about that steady rock that you have that you can always rely on, whether it's a spouse or a friend or a parent or a brother or sister. But she's kind of like that for us. And I think she gives all of us... she makes us relax. I mean, we're okay. We got Maite in there. She gets us in our offense better. It allows Sabrina to kind of just run around and do her thing off the ball and without those responsibilities. So, and then when she can make shots in big moments like she did, then that just adds to it. But yeah, she's our rock. She really is.
Thoughts on the matchup this weekend?
Well, they're both good teams. I mean, Arizona, I know they've struggled one-loss-wise, but man, you look at their numbers, they don't turn it over. They're organized. They play their butts off. Defensively, they're solid. I thought they had a really good weekend. They played Cal right to the last possession, and then Stanford just couldn't knock them out. They just hung around. So I anticipate a really good game there. And then Arizona State is Arizona State. They don't change. Charlie's been there for 20-some-odd years, and they get in your face defensively. They don't make mistakes. They make you work for everything. And this year they were making threes. So I think I haven't really delved into them yet, but just from what I've seen, this will be a big weekend.
Adia's done a pretty good job of really bringing in new life, new energy, getting Arizona to play with passion and play with sort of a relentless mentality.
Yeah, like I said, they're really playing hard. That was the first thing I noticed. I've watched every Pac-12 game and a couple of their non-league games, and yeah, they play hard. They don't beat themselves, and I've been noticing the crowds too. I think they're really supporting her as one of their own, and I think they appreciate how they're playing, even though they're not seeing it in the results. Win-wise, I think fans are appreciating the style of ball.
Before conference play began, you talked about the defensive improvement you wanted, and specifically you talked about post play. It seemed like everyone was having big nights against you guys down low. How has that kind of improved, or has it improved through two weekends of Pac-12 play?
Yeah, actually it has improved.
Yeah.
Partly schematically, we've given them some help. We're double teaming a lot, either from the guard or off the power forward. So we are giving them some help. But I think defensively they're doing better. They truly are. We've really worked on it. So I hope we're seeing some rewards there. But I still am a big believer that if we want to be an elite team, we've got to continue to defend better, and especially from the inside out.